Hi guys, it's Abby. Welcome back to my channel. This video is on progressed moon in Leo. And I'm excited to do this one because I have natal moon in Leo. This obviously isn't about natal moons, but I feel akin to this moon because I have moon in Leo. So I feel like I have a special understanding of how this moon works, all of its emotional drama and self-absorption. So I think I can really help you out if you're going through your progressed moon in Leo. And how you figure out progressions is you really have to know your time of birth. A progression is your natal chart sped up one day for every year you've been alive. So you can easily have this calculated at any site that does charts for free, like astro.com. You can create a free account. You just have to put in your natal chart, and then under extended chart selection, it has the option for progress chart or natal chart with progressions. So you can look at both. The progress chart on its own is very useful, but it's especially useful when you look at it in relation to your natal chart. And what progressions represent is your evolving self. So it represents how you are utilizing the potential of your natal chart in real time. So it moves obviously very slow if it's one day for a year. So for example, your progressed sun takes 30 years to change signs. Mine actually just went into Gemini this year, and I was super excited, and I don't know how I feel about that. A little all over the place, which is very Gemini, so whatever. Also, a thing about progressions is as you move through them, they are like filters that get added to your life. So it's not like you go through it and then you like go back to being the way you were before. No, no, no. Like if you're, for example, like I'm in Sun in Aries, and then I went through progressed Sun in Taurus for 30 years, starting when I was like 7. And so that was like a layer, a filter, if you will, over my sun that will never go away. And now there's another filter of Gemini. So with the moon, it's the fastest mover because it takes the moon in transit 2.5 days to change signs. So it takes it 2.5 years to change progress signs. And what it represents is your evolving needs and emotions, like your general emotional climate over the 2.5 year period. It also represents your evolving relationships because your relationships with people in your outside world tend to be or are a reflection of the emotions that are happening on the inside of you. So we're talking about Leo. So when you go from progressed moon in Cancer to progressed moon in Leo, the internal changes are that you're experiencing a need to get away from caretaking for others, emotional fluctuations, having this really nurturing quality about your relationships, real emotional connections. You have a need to get back to yourself. Leo is a fire sign and it's fixed fire. So what that means is fire is it's the element of the self. It tends to be the most self-centered of the elements, and it represents creativity, inspiration, expression, emotional expression especially. It represents the connection with the divinity. So fire signs have the most sort of faith and inspiration of all of the elements, and like I said, they're highly creative. So Leo being a fixed sign, it represents the middle of a season, in this case the middle of summer. And fixed signs are what they are is like the sustaining energy. It's that unwavering, like stay the course type of energy, because that's the middle of a season. It's like when everything is even Steven. So they tend to be stubborn, they don't fluctuate, they tend to like never think they're wrong. They tend to want to like just keep things even keel. And when you have fixed fire, it means that this is like that sustainable burn. So Aries is, I'm in Aries and it's Aries season, and Aries is that like quick burst of flame. Like we flare up and then we die down. And Sagittarius, the other fire sign, I like to think of Sagittarius as like the northern lights or like even Christmas lights, because they're like super bright and sparkly and fun, but they're constantly moving because that is mutable fire. Whereas fixed fire is kind of like the Yule log, it's just like the slow burn, or like the consistency of being in the spotlight, which is where Leo likes to be. It's like that fixed sort of light and brightness. So Leo is all about self-expression. When your progressed moon goes into Leo, you're going to have this upsurge in the need to express yourself and to do that through creative means. But because we're talking about the moon and emotions, it's going to be emotional self-expression. It is a really good idea, if you're going through this lunar progression, to find some sort of creative, artistic expression to do, because you're going to need it and it's going to feel really good. It's going to be a way to let your emotions out without like hurting others, like, or getting overly dramatic, because that's what happens during this lunar progression. Is everything can become, your feelings and emotions and your inner needs become larger than life, and like the good and the not so good. So on one hand, this is a heart-centered sign. It actually rules the heart. Your heart chakra is going to be opening. But when your heart chakra opens, you have this duality of experience where you're going to feel like you want to be really generous with your love and really magnanimous. And Leo tends to be super generous with their love and with gifts and things, like material things. But because this is the moon sign, I'm really more focused on emotions. Like just overflowing the people that they love with good feelings and positivity and like their radiance, because this is the sun's natural placement. So when the moon is here, there is ego involved because it naturally is ruled by the sun, which represents the ego. And there's a lot of this individualistic energy. So you tend to feel like your emotions are so unique, such a special part of who you are, and other people don't understand. And I always feel like this, being a natal moon in Leo. Like, I fully admit that I have over dramatized emotions. They become overwhelming to me when certain people in my life trigger them. Like, some people I'm just like whatever, but some people really trigger them, and it's like I can't control them. And being in Aries, that's kind of uncomfortable for me. Like, I'm a quadruple Aries, so I just want to be like done, like let's move on. But like that Leo moon just holds on to the emotion, and I'm like, can we be done already, please? Please. But you have to kind of feed your moon, and this goes for your progressed moon as well. So you're going to need an avenue of expression, because the magnanimous feelings of opening the heart chakra are great. Like, that's a really beautiful expression. It's wonderful to be like your cup is overflowing with love and you can share with others. But when you start to feel like your cup isn't, you can't fill your own cup, and the way you do this with progressed moon in Leo is self-expression, creative self-expression. So like really unique things that put you in the spotlight that you can do to feel good about yourself. Nobody else can do this for you. Leo tends to need an audience. So they do enjoy being in the spotlight and being like, this is the sign of the king and the queen and like royalty. So you tend to want to feel as if you're special. And you are, obviously. Everyone has something about them that's super special. And this is the time in your life to really discover what it is and cultivate it. This is all about you, and you should be exploring that. That's the purpose of this progression. So you're going to want to explore whatever creative realm you have that makes you feel like you are the center stage, that you are in the spotlight. But you can't get angry at others because they're not giving you the spotlight and the applause that you need, and the positive affirmation and reassurance that you need. Like, there's no point in getting angry at other people. I've learned this the hard way. Like, you can't get angry at someone and expect them to give you what it is that you wanted. You can't. Like, that's a really hard lesson for an Aries to learn. It's so hard. We're all still learning it. Like, is there any Aries out there that's like, I understand now. There's no need to get angry. Like, we're Mars ruled. But Leo also tends to have a temper. It's like more slow, but then when it happens, it's like huge. So you're wasting your time, you're wasting this progression if you get angry because people aren't giving you the recognition and the acknowledgement that you deserve. Because above all else, during this lunar progression, you're going to need recognition and acknowledgement. You're going to need to know that you are appreciated and that people see you for the special, unique person you are. And if you've reached a dead end where something's not working, it's up to you to change it, to change your approach, to do something different. You're in a creative time in your life, so be creative and find a different way to let your light shine, because all the outside world is doing is showing you that you're not on the right path. So if other people aren't giving you recognition or appreciation, it's because you're barking up the wrong tree. So appreciate that negative feedback or no feedback at all. Appreciate the universe showing you you've reached a dead end here, turn a different way. Just follow that instinct, because you're in a fire progressed moon, so it's all about instinct. It's all about your gut. So trust your gut. You're going to find something that works for you, and this is a beautiful time to really cultivate that. And then when you go into your progressed moon in Virgo, if you found something that you love, you can start to work that, like really work it, because that's what Virgo progressed moon does, is they just work their asses off. But now is the time to explore and to find what feels good, to find what gives you acknowledgement and recognition for the special person that you are, and also to really put yourself first, and also to enjoy life. When I was going through my lunar progression in Leo, I started seeing this guy, and it was like I wasn't a teenager, I was in my 20s, but I had gotten out of like a very serious relationship, and it really burned me. I was really sad. And I took like a 2-year break from dating. And then I started dating this guy. And it wasn't a super serious relationship. We were in like a committed monogamous relationship, but we just had so much fun. Like, yes, there was a lot of sex, and this progression tends to like increase your libido and your just enjoyment of the moment. And that's what we were doing, is like we would go hiking, or we would go camping, or we would go like take a weekend trip here. We would just go to the movies. We would have fun. I felt like a teenager again. It was that kind of feeling of like, we're just having fun. Everything's fun, and we're just enjoying the moment. And that is kind of the essence of this progression, and it's super enjoyable. Like, you should be having lots of fun. It's really not that serious of a time. Like, you can get serious about your creative self-expression, but other than that, you should just be having fun. And this tends to be, all lunar progressions tend to be a lighter time for people, one where they feel better about themselves. The only people that would really have a hard time with progressed moon in Leo is if you have difficult Leo placements in your natal chart, because this will create an emotional activation of them. Also, if you have strong Scorpio, Aquarius especially, or Taurus placements, the square, like the difficult, challenging aspects this makes to those natal placements might activate some challenging things for you. Squares and oppositions tend to just activate you literally into action, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just not always comfortable when you're pushed to act. And if you have moon, especially in Scorpio, Taurus, or Aquarius, you're going to have more trouble with this lunar progression than others, because it's forming the opposition or the square. So you can keep that in mind. I wrote a really thorough blog post on this, so I'm going to link it in the box below, in the description box, because it goes through way more than I've gone through in this video. It was really thorough. I took my time and really did it right. So it's worth a read if you want more information on this. And if you're going through your Leo lunar progression, please let me know in the comments how it's going and what your experiences have been and what your challenges are, so we can kind of explore this together. And I hope you've enjoyed the video and gotten something out of it. Thank you for liking, watching, and subscribing. I love you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.